Welcome back to the Pot of Greed.
That's right. This is a huge Yu-Gi-Oh week.
Who would have guessed that
Yeah.
the Tokyo Dome event would give us so much?
Yeah, we knew the Tokyo Dome was going to be saying some things, but we did not know there would be this many announcements. Plus, there's like Master Duel stuff going on. It's going to be a lot for sure. Yeah, definitely a lot. So, yeah, hopefully you guys have had a good week. Shout outs to everybody watching the premiere on YouTube. One's in chat.
Real ones.
Yeah. Let's see real quick though if we've got a new review. I think we do.
Oh, what we got?
Okay, so this person says, awesome. His name is Sword Soul Sucker. Love these guys. They cover all sorts of card game news, not just Yu-Gi-Oh, and make it so interesting and fun. Definitely recommend Team APS due to the simple fact they break a lot of what's going on down in a way I can understand and bring up ideas I never even thought of. Keep up the amazing work, guys.
Hey, we try.
Thanks, much appreciated.
I wonder if Sword Soul Sucker is a combination of Sword Soul, and Vampire Sucker.
Or are you just a sucker for sword souls?
Oh, okay. Because the other way I was thinking would have been horribly inappropriate.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. So we appreciate the positive review. If you guys are ever on Apple or Google or anything that lets you review the podcast,
Yeah,
that is much
Spotify,
appreciated. 5 stars helps. 1 star probably still helps, but don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, don't do it, but I'll appreciate it.
Okay, let's get going with the Tokyo Dome news because there's a lot to cover, and I'm gonna just try to kind of power through it. Mm-hmm. I think the first thing we got to talk about is probably the
video,
the Yu-Gi-Oh Chronicles,
the video.
So this is a I would put it on screen, but I'm in fear of copyright strikes. This is an animated Yu-Gi-Oh short, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, it was longer than a short.
Yeah, it was 6 minutes long, and it was just a compilation of a lot of different archetypes, kind of notable ones.
It starts off with Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, but then it goes as far as to show AA Zeus and Typhon.
Yeah, and even like the Sky Striker cards and everything. So basically, they showcased a bunch of different archetypes in just beautiful, well-animated kind of montages that just showcase parts of their lore stories.
It was animated so well, you'd think Mappa did it.
Yeah, this is apparently actually an announcement of Konami's new animation studio. It's just called, I think, Konami Animation.
Yeah, Konami Animation.
Yeah. So here's what all got shown. There was Dark Magician and Blue Eyes following, Blue Eyes, White Dragon, and Red Eyes they were like in there in the background, I think. And then we saw Maiden with Eyes of Blue and Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, the Spirit Charmers, the third Ice Dragon Trishula Unleashed.
That one looked cool.
Melfi's of the Joyous Forest,
that was
Divine
a cool
Arsenal,
animation.
the Melfi one actually got it kind of got its own separate look more so.
Yeah.
That kind of looks like how their cards are drawn.
Though I did think so whoever put it together or whoever ordered it, they knew exactly what they were doing by putting Zeus right after Melfi's because that's their play.
Yeah, that's true. Melfi's do they make Zeus. Divine Arsenal, AA Zeus, Sky Thunder, which actually used CG animation, which I think was a very it felt even more mecha in that way because
it felt
mecha
very
anime,
Gundam Seed.
Yeah, mecha anime loved the CG. They love it.
Crazy lasers.
Lots of lasers. It reminds me actually about that Divine Arsenal Zeus put together figure thing, the buildable figure that they announced a while back.
That's not out yet.
I haven't heard too much more about it. The Legendary Six Samurai. I liked that one a lot. That was cool.
Because that was the samurai fighting ninjas, right?
I thought that the ninjas showed up, if I'm correct. It felt like it was basically the scene of Evenly Matched.
I think it was.
I think that might have been what they were depicting.
Literally might have been that.
I'll have to double check. Live Twin and Evil Twins,
that
basically.
Was cool.
Getting to see their internet personas and then also just them off the computer.
They're streamers, but also Phantom Thieves. Who knew?
Yeah. Fallen of Albaz was in there, which was really cool. Exodia, the guardian god of the palace, which I think is technically that was probably related to the new Exodia stuff.
Yeah, the new Millennium stuff.
Visas, the glimmers through stars and frost. That's sort of the translation
Visa
of
Star Frost.
Visa Star Frost.
All right, I was like,
because it said all the names the translated OCG names were in the trailer. So yeah, Visa Star Frost, Fire Kings versus Atlanteans, which gives me hope of an Atlantean structure deck.
That would be cool since Fire Kings have become a huge thing.
Yeah, like Fire King just got a structure, and like the last time they got that, Atlanteans were like right after, and they're literally fighting each other. So the Ocean Up in Flames is what that's called.
I like it.
Diabell Star, the Curse-defying witch.
Now that one was more so like a much shorter animation. I wanted to see more, but I guess because the Diabell Star story is still going, they didn't show too much.
Yeah, you see her waking up in bed, I guess, with like
they didn't show her bottle of water.
Right, yeah. That'd be funny if that was beside the bed. Dragon Rulers, the Paranormal Calamity. Obviously, you gotta have Dragon Rulers. They're very iconic.
I forgot.
Magistus, the Great Sorcery. So that showed the four, huh?
Oh, it was. I was trying to remember the Magistus.
Yeah, like Zoroa and others. I don't remember their other names. I only
Crowley,
know Zoroa,
that's the only one I know.
Yeah, I know Zoroa because I used it in Witchcrafters. Sulfur the Ensemble of Happiness. Got a slightly longer section. Turns out Sulfur Chords were the ones playing the music in the trailer. Oh. Like, it just kind of shows, it lines up.
I feel bad. I actually didn't recognize them. I thought they were the other, like, kind of cutesy
they remind
archetype.
Me of,
I thought they were the,
like, is it not Melodious, but
not
like...
Melodious.
Lyra?
No, not Lyra. They're birds.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just had them confused with a different archetype.
I also thought they were like Madolche.
Madolche's food. Yeah, but we eat those.
Either way, and the video concludes with Sky Striker Ace Ray and Rose clashing.
Which that one was kind of sick.
So I thought this was really cool. This is not actually the first work of Konami Animation.
It was not,
as you informed me.
Yeah, the Konami Animation actually worked on the OP for Rain the Seven Spellblades, an anime that came out 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, a few seasons ago now.
A few seasons ago.
Yeah, we watched it, and I remember feeling when I watched it, like, I was like, man, the animation for this, like, intro is, like, really good. So it felt very...
It felt like a video game opening, not necessarily an anime opening.
Yeah, so, like I said, a lot of cool archetypes represented. Sorry I can't show the footage here. I just don't want to get, copyright struck or anything like that.
But I'd be surprised if you guys hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can see it. Look it up. Look up Yu-Gi-Oh card game, The Chronicles. So this is exciting for a number of reasons. If you've been listening to this podcast, actually, we have said basically every other week I have a rant about how like Konami really does need to be making like, exciting kind of animated shorts or trailers that,
that expand on these
expand on
cards.
The lore a little bit, or just hype building, right? Like if a new set's coming out, like let's get a trailer. Let's kind of see.
We're always asking for more anime.
Yeah, let's see what the story is. And this could be interesting too in that regard, huh? Like let's assume maybe that they made an actual anime of these. Like it seems like there's now a real possibility of that because they have a studio.
But no confirmation, guys. That has not been confirmed.
Yeah, this is not a confirmation of any of that. So that's actually one thing that I have seen a lot of people online like having a misunderstanding. This is just like currently this little piece of media is just sort of a celebration of some archetypes and like a demo.
Purely promotional.
Yeah, this is a demo reel, a few different animation styles. None of these are like, it's going to have a season or whatever.
Relax.
However, because it was very popular, and because they now have an animation studio, I think that means there's a lot of potential for that.
I do think that it should not be lost on Konami how deeply that these videos penetrated in the mainstream zeitgeist.
Yep.
Everybody who had ever been interested in Yu-Gi-Oh saw these videos and got hype. Everybody saw something they recognized, and they were like, wait, are we getting an anime now?
Yeah, the video, I need to actually look it up real quick, but the video on YouTube, just when it first went up on the like OCG Yu-Gi-Oh channel, got a lot of views. I
haven't seen the view count, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's the most viewed thing they've had ever.
Lots of reactions. On the Konami channel, it has 406K views, but on the official like Yu-Gi-Oh OCG channel, 1.4 million views.
Let's go.
That's like the most viewed Yu-Gi-Oh thing that quickly, I think, ever.
Hey, they almost have almost as many views as some of our more popular works.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I mean, but like that really is like, in modern history, like kind of with just the TCG, I think that's the most viewed like piece of official media they've had. I mean, the last time I remember Yu-Gi-Oh really being that exciting was maybe either Master Duel's announcement or like the Dark Side of Dimensions like trailers and stuff. So definitely like worth noting that hey, people care about this. There's interest, there's
here.
Audience appeal, a lot of reaction videos and stuff. So I would love to see it. I would love to see more archetypes get fleshed out this way.
And, I kind of would have liked them to premiere it at Worlds that we were at that had nothing.
Yeah, this Tokyo Dome event in general just had a little bit of everything.
Everything we wanted at Worlds.
They had everything. They had voice actors, loads of cosplay, just a little bit of...
So many announcements that would have made Worlds feel much more
exciting. Yeah, we got... The reason what he means is we went to Japan last, August for Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds, which ended up being very rudimentary kind of Yu-Gi-Oh!
It was pretty much
experience.
just a tournament, and even for the viewers, I mean, they got just a tournament.
Well, anywho, the next thing that was also revealed was that Konami is developing what seems like a VR experience around Yu-Gi-Oh! We don't know that it's necessarily a game, although it did work with Oculus Quest.
Something that I thought
what Meta Quest?
It was with the Meta Quest. Well, what I thought was interesting is said Duel Links Presents or something along those lines.
Yeah,
but it wasn't the Duel Links engine, clearly, from the shots I saw.
So just to quickly summarize what we saw, it's mostly in screenshots. Yeah. I don't know that there's a direct video. I think there's a short promotional video.
I haven't seen the video.
But you can see monsters like Blue Eyes and Dark Magician Girl, Pet in the Dark Clown, but also even some newer cards like the AI guy from Vrains. I forget his name. I think
just I.
From Vrains. And even some card locations like Necro Valley was one of the places that was shown. And yeah, it's just you put on the VR headset and I guess you kind of get to duel and play against these monsters or whatever and kind of live this experience.
That'd be sick.
And yeah, I did say something about Duel Links.
Yeah, because I don't think that it's Duel Links Presents. If I had to guess, the Duel Links team in Japan were the ones working on this project. I don't think this has much to do with Duel Links itself.
Yeah, something that I did see about that is that I believe a lot of these models are from Cross Duel. The visual style closely resembled Yu-Gi-Oh! Cross Duel, which is the now defunct mobile game.
What a shame!
But
pour one out.
But when it was around, I remember it had higher quality models than we'd seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Up to then. So I think that they're probably putting some of these assets to use. And I think it looks great. I really do. I saw C-Reax and Rhyme Style. They were at this event, and I saw their tweets about
they weren't at Worlds, but they were here. I wish we could have traded.
We got the short end of the stick.
I wish we could have traded.
Yeah, I think Konami had flown them out for that. I think this looked really awesome. It certainly channels that Dark Side of Dimensions look, where Kaiba and his the blue hologram cards appear in your hand and
the almost immaculate shading and line art in Dark Side Dimensions. It really is peak Yu-Gi-Oh look.
Yes. Definitely.
Excellent.
And I think that also there's a lot of excitement in the idea of Yu-Gi-Oh VR specifically. I think everybody's always been asking for holograms and are we gonna get
I mean, this is all ground Yu-Gi-Oh the franchise has tread before. Mm-hmm. The Kaiba had his whole virtual world.
Yeah, he made a whole
annoying arc in VR.
Pegasus was trying to get the virtual technology. There's the Big Five arcs.
Was not Arc 5.
Zexal
had the Duel Gazer,
solid vision,
which is
stuff.
Augmented reality type dueling. And Vrains,
it's literally in
just all VR.
In the Vrains. Yeah, and so that's the thing, right? It feels like it's an aesthetic that Yu-Gi-Oh has more and more so flirted with, and so this could be a huge thing. Now, again, this is just a tech demo. There's not really confirmation about whether or not this will be a full game.
No promises.
Or some sort of a game. Maybe even if not a game, an app experience thing. I don't know. But I do think it's kind of exciting because A, Yu-Gi-Oh's done that, and but also B, VR in general in the world right now is it's picking up a little bit. I don't know if you know, Apple just released their Apple Vision Pro headset. And it's this $3,500 headset that obviously the average person cannot buy. However, it's exciting because when Apple gets into a space, that tends to help mainstream that space.
I mean, they wouldn't get into it unless they knew they could turn a profit.
Yeah, so they probably see some potential in it. And so now that they've done it, It means there might be a little bit more development for VR, a little bit more mainstream acceptance for VR. So
I saw people playing Honkai Star Rail with the Apple Vision Pro.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I saw somebody playing Super Smash Bros. Melee on there. Apparently, you're able to you can map out. You can have windows and place them in front of you, and just kind of oh, I'm playing this on here, and looking around.
Because I've been in the VR space for a while now, and I had the Oculus Quest, I had the Oculus Rift, I had the Meta Quest and the Meta Quest 2, and something that they've always been lacking, in my opinion, is that same multitask functionality. I thought it was cool with a little bit I saw about the Apple Vision Pro, right? That's the name.
Yeah, Apple Vision
The little bit
Pro.
I've seen about it is actually pretty solid. It's a pretty solid VR experience.
Yeah, so I would love to see wherever this goes. Honestly, I think that this is huge.
But they did make one game announcement.
Did they?
Yes, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days game collection announced for Switch and PC. So it'll have ports of, and I think these are all OCG names, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 4, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 6, Expert 2, among other titles. So I believe that this is a collection of retro Yu-Gi-Oh! Games from the Game Boy and Game Boy Color days. So I think we can expect Forbidden Memories to be on there.
Yeah, well, so basically, actually, those early days collections games, or those games that are called Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist 1 and Duelist 2 and all that stuff, are games that eventually came stateside and stuff under different names.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So I believe, I'm trying to find a list so I don't just literally speak misinformation into the world. But I believe, let's see if I can find it. I just don't want to lie. People in chat, if you know, feel free.
Yeah, which Duel Monsters game it has what their Western equivalent was.
There's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 4, Battle of Great Duelists, that was on Game Boy Color, and Duel Monsters 6, Experts 2. Additional titles might be announced at a later date. Well, I don't want to say for sure, but I know these are some different games that are all going to be on Nintendo Switch and Steam.
Yes. And it has already been confirmed that we are also getting this collection in the West, which makes sense because it's on Steam, and I don't even know if Steam has a region locking system. So, yeah.
Historically, there have been some games, though, that just don't come... these Japanese-only releases. I'm glad this is going to be a worldwide release because I do think a lot of people want that.
I sure do.
So... that'll be really cool. I think it's just nice to have new Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games. I would have also liked to have seen... I don't think it'll probably be in this collection, but it would be really neat to see maybe... What is the PS2 one? Duels of the Roses.
Oh, I don't know if that'll be
I don't think it'll be on this, but I would love to see that get remastered maybe and kind of released in the modern age.
I guess since it's going to be on... Switch, that means any game that was on a Nintendo handheld or maybe even like GameCube maybe will be in there.
Yeah, that could be a second one if the first one does kind of well. Yeah, I think I could see with these Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games a lot of people doing first time playthroughs of these old classics. For streams, reaction vids, that sort of thing, kind of let's plays. So.
I wanna challenge Jesse Cotton to a match of in Forbidden Memories.
Yeah,
the
some old ass Yu-Gi-Oh game.
The winner becomes the best at Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, the entire title's on the line.
Yep, on Forbidden Memories, this RNG nonsense game.
Yeah, I've been meaning to say we should play Forbidden Memories. I think a channel video. Dude, people apparently really love Forbidden Memories. I don't know if you knew, but do you know about this rabbit hole?
I know it's a game.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, sorry to tangent real quick here. Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories is actually a huge just game in the speedrunning community because it's full of RNG nonsense and kind of exploits and stuff, and it's really hard. It's just a very difficult game. The systems that work do not at all align with how regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Is played. Apparently you have to fuse monsters and you can't always know what monsters fuse into each other.
It's a very frustrating game.
And all that stuff. And there's just a huge audience for it. People love watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories gameplay.
Because Forbidden Memories made me want to throw the cartridge, I remember. Someone gave me a copy or I stole it. I'm not sure how I got it.
You stole it?
I don't know how I got
it.
But as a kid, I got a copy of Forbidden Memories secondhand, we'll say. And I remember I got stuck on a CPU where I couldn't figure his monsters were all bigger than mine, and I kept fusing, and the results were always random, and I couldn't beat it, and I got
I think
so
the meta
frustrated.
of it is that like it's twin-headed thunder dragon or something is like the best fusion monster, or one of those like thunder dragon.
What a horrible best fusion monster!
Oh, yeah, I saw some video where it was just like, why like Forbidden Memory is the hardest thing ever. But anyway, I don't think some of the newer stuff will be in this collection, but I would be surprised if like maybe they threw Forbidden Memories on there. Because Forbidden Memories and Dark Duel Stories have like a connected story, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Like the story
They do.
Yeah, and I think so like some of those early games all had like a through line. It's just not really known because they got all these weird names.
Yeah, because those are the games where they introduce like Simon, the video game character.
Yeah.
And that's important because that actually leads us into some of the TCG news that was announced during the Tokyo Dome event.
Yeah, well, actually, you know what? Just let me finish this video game news with the Duel Links announcement.
Oh, okay.
Because that's actually there's Duel Links and a quick Master Duel thing, and then we'll get to TCG.
All right.
Just keeping it all Tokyo Dome real quick, or Tokyo Dome game adjacent stuff. Duel Links is getting what is the summon type called?
It's called Maximum Summon.
Yeah, Duel Links is getting Maximum Summon. Maximum Summon. What is that? That's a Rush Duel thing.
It's a Rush Duel thing. It's the concept of we have our three. It's like Speed Duels. You only have 3 monster zones. Well, in Rush Duels, you can have what's called like a maximum summon, where it's one monster, but it's made up of 3 parts. You're not fusing them. You summon each part to a different zone, and oftentimes the cards they come together to make a larger artwork, and then they're treated as one monster. But they have all of the monsters' effects. So you kind of blow your opponent out is the idea at that point. Because
is it sort of like a high risk thing?
It's a high risk thing because typically the parts of your maximum summon are bricks or fairly useless on their own.
Yeah.
But when you make one monster that has 3 different effects with high stats,
suddenly
now your opponent has a hard time interacting with you. Your opponent has a hard time dealing with that threat. So maximum summons are a great way to just blow your opponent out. I imagine it's going to look amazing in Duel Links because every maximum summon is going to get an animation, I'm sure.
Yeah, so that's just coming on February 28th.
Yeah, so that's actually this month. But even more interesting than us just getting maximum summons, because they pretty much announced the first 2 maximum summons, which were also the first 2 in Rush Duels. So they're not too interesting. They're not that
what are
great.
they?
I don't remember their names. They have weird Japanese names.
I know it was like a Blue Eyes thing.
There's one is a combination of like super robots, and the other one is a 3-headed dragon thing. They're okay, but more interesting is they also announced that every player will get 1 copy of each of the pieces of the Harpy Lady Sisters maximum summon.
Okay.
So you actually get that for free is my understanding. That means you get the Harpy Lady left, middle, and right. That means that more than likely we're getting the Harpy Lady strategy in Rush Duels, which is very interesting because they only came to Rush Duels in Japan very recently. I was in Japan when like the Harpy stuff was coming out, so that wasn't long ago, and we're getting it now in Rush Duel Links.
Yeah.
So
Rush Duel Links.
Like we've seen with other things with the Master Duel and with Duel Links, they're kind of breaking their formulas a bit to try and just to entertain us some more.
Yeah, a quick thing on Master Duel too. There's more actual Master Duel news here in a bit, but this is just one of the things that was announced at the Tokyo Dome is Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel AI project. So Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel, which is set to celebrate its 2nd anniversary, is a definitive edition of the Yu-Gi-Oh competitive card game on all platforms. I think some people would take issue with that description. But either way, Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel X AI project is a project to deliver new ways to enjoy duels by building a system that allows AI to be installed in the game, enabling duels to be played with the AI created by external programs. That's an interesting way of wording that. I feel like Konami wouldn't want you using anything that's like not their own. It's probably their own external AI thing. And
then I don't think you can put AI in the game.
I think this is just a feature they're working on. They're trying to make it sound kind of like fancy and like futuristic, but I feel like they wouldn't like let you install any program.
Konami, like the Master Duel devs, will use AI, and then they'll
give you the feature,
some type of script or program, because I don't know if you can run an AI through just like a video game.
I mean, you probably can. Well, either way, for what it's worth, Master Duel is a live service game. So I guess running AI alongside it might not be as difficult. Either way, here's what they say. It grows and learns through continuous dueling. During the event, attendees saw the thinking processes of the AI visualized, such as selection patterns of the AI's actions, quantifying win rates depending on how duels develop, and predicting which cards would be played. And that actually is... That, I think, explains why they've collected as much data as they have in Master Duel, at least one of the applications of that data. Because when you look at the screenshots, it basically shows, like, percent chances of cards being played next, or percent chances of, like, if the AI Ash Blossoms this starter card that you play, it has an 88% chance of beating you. So it knows now that, like, this is the card to Ash Blossom. And so it's, like, kind of a real evolution of, like, the dueling kind of AI that maybe old Yu-Gi-Oh games would have had, where they'd be, like, just very rudimentary. It's like, maybe they'll ask your search effect, maybe they won't. Like, it wouldn't know.
This kind of reminds me of I don't know if you've ever played like a Street Fighter game, like Street Fighter 6, but the higher CPU difficulties, they're not scripted. They have perfect data and instantaneous reactions. So the moment you press a button, the computer automatically reads your frame data and takes the appropriate action.
See, a lot of people feel that that's not a good kind of AI, because that's like kind of the fake difficulty thing, where it's simply perfect,
right?
And it doesn't actually emulate really what playing a person would be like. Like, yeah, it'd be very good, but if they literally always just pick sort of the right answer in a response time window that is unrealistic, then it's no longer really a good experience. I mean, some people might see that as good because it's like, oh, it's really hard to beat the CPU. But I think this could be cool because it seems like it's dynamic to some degree. Like, it's going to kind of be reacting to you, but also going off of just general, like, bets that it has to put on, like, this is a worthwhile card to stop versus, like, this isn't. So maybe there could be baits involved. Could you, like, bait out the AI by using what you think is a card that has a lower chance of being ashed? And seeing if it ashes that or like a higher,
I am curious as how deep the AI's thought process goes into how it makes those decisions. Because is it also making kind of hard calls about what's in a person's deck? Because like if you play high level Yu-Gi-Oh, you're clocking each and every card your opponent plays, and especially like tech cards or cards they side in. If they've played it once, you're wondering, okay, how many more do they have in their deck? That influences your decision making, and I wonder if the AI is doing the same thing.
Yeah, I imagine it would probably know that, which I think might make it feel a little unfair. But
it might not know that, which would make it even more interesting. That it's betting like in an actual Yu-Gi-Oh match at table 2. It's actually betting that you only have 2 copies of this hand trap, and so now it feels like if I play this card, it's more than likely going to succeed. Like, that could be really interesting. Also difficult. I don't know how you would actually make that. Look, I'm not a software engineer or a programmer,
a coder or any of that stuff. Yeah. So cool though. Just AI, I think, in a game like this could be fun. There's no confirmation of whether or not the feature will actually appear in Master Duel yet. Right. We don't know that that's going to happen. Like with many of the things shown at the Tokyo Dome, a lot of this is more proof of concept.
A lot of this are the things Kaiba worked on when Atem disappeared.
Yeah, it feels like Kaiba just took over the Yu-Gi-Oh card game in real life now.
Because now I think about it, the Master Duel AI, that's what he was running to duel against the Pharaoh over and over again.
Yeah, so the Master Duel AI, he's working on that. He developed Master Duel. I'd honestly believe it, Kaiba. I mean, because like when they made Cross Duel, like it basically was implied that he was kind of like...
It did, yeah.
He like made it or whatever.
I mean, he takes his card games very seriously.
We also got some card announcements. I think that was what you were getting at.
Yes, because we mentioned Simon from the that old Yu-Gi-Oh storyline, and it seems that the new Millenium archetype are references to the cards he played.
Yeah, those are going to be coming in the set. What is it? Infinite Forbidden.
Infinite Forbidden.
It's basically an Exodia like archetype, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of more in the vein of like Yugi's what's it called? Of Light.
The sarcophagus of
sarcophagus. It's one of those type of strategies where you're playing these Millennium monsters, and they play around this fusion spell, like cross something. Mm-hmm. The fusion spell helps you make your Exodia, but it's also the resource that all your other Millennium monsters need to search, or by revealing it, they get their effects. They play themselves in the spell and trap zone. I have no idea why. But yeah, it's one of those types of like mid-rangey strategies that attempts to make a really annoying Exodia.
Yeah, I saw the new Exodia monster is like a fusion. I thought that was very cool. I'm actually looking it up right now because I had only glimpsed its effect and like I didn't really read it in full.
If I remember correctly, it has a negate and it gains attack for each piece in the grave, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That sounds...
Because there's like question mark stats, and it doesn't seem to work with the Exodia archetype of Eld. Maybe those cards can still work with it, but the Millennium stuff seems to all work within themselves.
Yeah, Millennium Cross.
Cross. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at all these cards. There's a lot. Man.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
I mean, I guess we got what we expected, which was announcements of Infinite Forbidden at the live stream of like Tokyo Dome. So very cool. I was also going to say we got that, you know, that Soul Exchange card with like the blue eyes on it or whatever.
Oh, did they reveal its effect?
Yeah, they revealed the effect. It's spell card Soul Exchange, and so this is based off of Kaiba using Soul Exchange to summon Blue Eyes. It's a normal spell that says immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon one monster. And if you do, it cannot be tributed this turn. And when you do, you can tribute a monster or monsters your opponent controls, even though you do not control them.
Right.
However, the second effect is, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, meaning it will happen immediately afterwards, activate this effect. Your opponent can apply this card's first effect. So basically, you get to do a tribute summon, and you can use your opponent's monsters. But then right after you do, they get to do a tribute summon, and they can use your monsters. However, they cannot use the monster that you just summoned because it is protected.
So you have to do it where you only have one monster on board.
Yeah, that would be the ideal thing, is that you tribute like 2 or 3 of theirs. I guess it would have to be 2 of theirs, because I think it would take 3 normally.
That's very specific.
Yeah, so you would basically try to tribute 2 of their cards, summon out your Blue Eyes or Blue Eyes-esque monster, and then they get the opportunity to use it back, but they can't because you don't have a monster that they can tribute. Pretty cool card.
It does feel very specific, kind of hard to use.
Very anime.
Because, I mean... Anime. Yeah, because you're really asking for a lot to go right here. Your opponent has to have like a monster you can tribute, or at least enough monsters you can tribute. You have to tribute it in such a way where you don't have anything else on your board. Like, there's not a lot of decks that can really make that happen.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, I think it's just something that's almost more of an anime homage than even really a usable card. Because I think that most people would still prefer something like the Monarch Stormforth, where it's a quick play spell.
Much simpler. It does not help your opponent at all.
A little simpler to use. However, you know, if you want to play a Kaiba deck, maybe you could get those bricky Blue Eyes out of your hand.
Let's get them out.
Because you got to run Blue Eyes in the Blue Eyes deck, so may as well. Anywho, we also got, and this is just a quick thing, we got some reference art for Low Guardian, or the Skull Guardian Protector of the Voiceless Voice.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, this was just on social media. I don't know if, well, can't zoom in on it any more than this, but...
Ooh.
Yeah, so just some reference art, just some stuff that they like to put out on social media.
Looks kind of mecha.
Some notes on its design. It says, like, about half of each blade is wearing the clothes from Seravis. And taking the design of Skull Guardian as the base, components from Saphira and Seravis were also introduced. The design of Saphira's wings and ornaments were turned into an equipment frame, and its characteristic blades have been updated. So just some quick little tidbits that they revealed from the OCG.
I do like those little concept arts.
Yeah, it's nice that we at least get that. Now, Master Duel news. A lot going on with this.
There's quite a bit.
So I woke up pretty much to this stuff today. But basically, the second anniversary update is now like kind of happened and started.
Yep.
There's a new duel pass where you can get gems and UR points and all that stuff. And at level 50, you'll be able to get a Sinful Spoils of Subversion Snake Eye icon. So that'll be really cool. And it's relevant because the Snake Eye archetype got added to Master Duel. Even Poplar.
That's so strange.
Yeah, even Snake Eye Poplar got added in today. And that's really crazy because, I mean, like, Phantom Nightmare, which is releasing this week, basically. Yeah,
officially, I mean, at least for us, it releases today, right?
Yeah, it's Wednesday when we're recording this. So like
crazy.
at OTS stores, you can go and like buy that stuff.
It clearly shows Master Duel does not care about their scheduling at all. They said, we'll release whatever we want. Y'all want it? We'll do it.
Yeah. So really cool. There's also like a mint green icon you can get. You can get a Snake Eyes Flamberg Dragon wallpaper.
I like Flamberg.
At level 75, you can get a Noble Arms Caliburn mate. So it's just a sword inside of a rock.
Sword and a rock.
So that's kind of cool. Now there's also a new campaign that they're doing, the Rookie and Returner Mutual Follower campaign. Mm-hmm. So by sharing your campaign code with players and achieving certain milestones, both players will get the following rewards. If one person uses your code, you'll get one Sword of Souls structure deck.
Okay.
If two people use your code, you'll get a copy of Sword Soul Sinister Sovereign, Qixing Long Yuan, the Abyss Dragon Sword Soul Strife, and Sword Soul Punishment. If 3 people use your code, you'll get 100 gems. If 4 people use your code, you'll get a copy of Tinyi Spirit Adara, Shatana, Mapura, Nahada, Vishuddha, and Monk of the Tinyi. And if 5 people use your code, you get 50 gems. Now then, if those players reach tier 4 of bronze rank, in other words, they have to play a little bit of ranked.
Right, which isn't that much.
Then you get 100 gems, some Iris Sword Soul sleeves, copy of Shaman of the Tinyi, Berserker of the Tinyi, Flawless Protection of the Tinyi, Vessel of the Dragon Cycle, Fist of the Unrivaled Tinyi, some free cards. If 4 people do it, you get 3 Legacy Pack tickets with 1 minimum SR guaranteed. And if 5 players do it, you get Flawless Perfection of the Tinyi wallpaper. So, very cool. I guess I will, if you guys want to use our codes, I'll put them up on like the stream. If you want to share yours.
We can just share our codes.
We can share
hey guys,
codes.
Help us out.
Yeah, I saw some
but I
people
guess
on
you're
Twitter
gonna have
doing
to be like,
you have to be new.
Because I'm new, technically. I could use your code.
But you still I think already have Master Duel installed, or do you have?
I have Master Duel, but I'm still at beginner rank.
Oh, okay. You really don't play.
I don't.
Yeah. Alec is a Duel Links guy. I'll put up like my code or whatever on
I'm
the
at
screen.
beginner too.
If you guys want to use it, I guess it'll help us all out. I saw some people sharing them on Twitter and stuff. They also have updated a couple of secret packs, like the Darkest Magics secret pack that had Dark Magician cards. Now got Dark Magician, the Knight of Dragon Magic in UR, and Chronicle Sorceress as a rare. Pretty cool. The Azure and Ivory got a few new like Blue Eyes cards. Harpy's Pet Dragon Fearsome Fire Blast was added into a secret pack, so that got released. Some Crystal Beast cards got released. TGs, I believe these are the ones from
the new stuff.
Yeah, the new stuff from Age of Overlord, the TG cards.
I do like that they update the secret packs as we get legacy support for these older archetypes. That's kind of cool. Good job, Master Duel.
Sword of the 7th one got some new like Barion's Chaos Draw, 7th Ascension, a couple of cards like that. Odd Eyes Rebellion Xyz Dragon and Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon Overlord got added in. A few new Blackluster Soldier cards, Destiny Heroes, other things like that. There's a login bonus going on right now for the 2nd anniversary. So
I logged in today.
If you log in for 7 straight days, you can get some tickets and gems.
I can't make that promise.
And there's, of course, a UR card bundle. So you'll get 30 master packs, an alternate art Royal Finish Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's the starter deck art, the one you probably originally saw in the anime. A Blue Eyes Mausoleum Dual Field, which looks really cool. Blue Eyes.
It actually does look cool.
Yeah, Blue Eyes sleeves.
God, I can't stand Blue Eyes.
A deck box that's called the President's Briefcase. Whatever that could mean.
That's kind of cool.
A Blue Eyes White Dragon icon, a deluxe frame, and a wallpaper. So you just get blue eyesed out.
Just everything Blue Eyes.
It even has its own animation, which that is the only reason I will play that card is to see that original Blue Eyes summoning animation. I want to see how that looks in game. But otherwise, I'm not like too big of a Blue Eyes deck fan or anything. The Blue Eyes White Dragon. There's a Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon mate. that they also added in.
I still like the mates to be like cute little mascotty things. I don't care for highly detailed boss monster type mates. I mean, they're cool too. I just personally like the little ones.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff like Master Duel's really, really, going in on
It's
just
second anniversary. You gotta give it to them.
Log in, get your stuff, play your Master
use our
Duel.
codes.
Yeah, use a code if I remember to put it on screen. Yeah, so pretty cool. I think like a few takeaways from this. It seems like they are investing a little bit more into Master Duel in terms of like getting, I think, like this new and returning players campaign or whatever. I think is a really cool way of like trying to really get some new blood into the game, right? Like, hey, play your Master Duel. Like, it reminds me a little bit of like that shareholder drama from last year, where like they're kind of trying to like get people to like play Master Duel and maybe also be able to transition to the TCG perhaps, or the physical card game. I think that this putting like Snake Eye in this early could be like a small step towards that.
Hey, it helped me out.
Yeah,
I like playing pure Snake Eye like physically, so I'll do it in Master Duel too.
Yeah, so like
It's
now
cheaper.
if you play that, you can you could play that in the TCG as well. Like it would feel almost 1-to-1. Even though I think in Master Duel right now we don't have things like Bonfire and stuff like that. But for players who just wanted to play the pure thing.
Because I think Bonfire isn't as necessary in a pure Snake Eye deck. I think if you're running the engine, it's more necessary.
Yeah. So, cool stuff. A lot of Master Duel. I'm going to have to log in and get some dueling, especially because I'll be in that Master Duel Invitational next week. So I'm going to have to get my practice in. I don't know if they've announced my match yet, so I won't talk about it on here.
I don't think they've announced what I'm doing too, so I can't talk about it.
Yeah, they just announced that we are in it, but
we in it.
But they are. I'm not so sure if they've announced the matchups. So, in fact, I'm going to double check right now just to see, so that way I can talk about it. If so, by the time you guys watch it, I mean, likely would have.
And last time they did update on the Thursday of upload, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, Master Duel.
I think they only showed the captain matchups.
Oh, okay. They showed 2 new matchups just 26 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Checking.
We've been here
Crip
for 26
versus
minutes.
Chilled Chaos will be another match that is happening. So, yeah, these are 2 YouTubers that they don't typically, I think, play Yu-Gi-Oh, so a lot of people may not know who they are.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I'm a little familiar with Chilled Chaos. I think Crip does Hearthstone, but like, correct me if I'm wrong on that. Somebody in chat maybe will. But yeah, they're going to be playing each other, and then of course we saw that Jesse Cotton and Joshua Schmidt will be playing each other as team captains. So very cool.
A little bit of North America versus Europe action.
Yeah, those are the 2 people that everybody wants. I saw an unkind comment in response to one of these posts, but it's one of these matchups that a lot of people want to see. Okay, anyway. So that's gonna be happening.
That's happening?
Yeah, it's gonna be happening.
All right, it's happening, yeah.
Cool. There will be more information, I'm sure, in the coming days about this event. I think Konami's got a lot in store for you guys to really be excited about. Hopefully we'll get some neat announcements as well, like the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
Maybe some cool TCG bits. Perhaps they'll showcase some new products. Or maybe, I don't know, something. Come on, Konami, give us something. Okay, anywho.
The slightest bit of Duel Links news, not Master, we just talked about that. Slightest bit of Duel Links news. Yeah, we kind of walked right into a Tier 0 format.
Did you? Listen, I heard about this because you did a video yesterday.
I uploaded a video.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you mentioned it in the video.
A little bit.
I think you did.
I didn't harp on it.
Well, I made a video that was like Duel Links is a better game than Master Duel, which is something I want your explanation on. But first, you can tell me about the this Tier 0 format.
Yeah, it was kind of random. No one was really expecting this. We kind of like pranced straight into it. We got we got new Galaxy Eyes cards, and we had this event, this raid event, where you unlock the duelist Mizar from Zexal, and he's known for running the Tachyon Dragon thing, proto Tachyon, the black dragon.
Oh, I thought that was Kite.
No, he ran the Photon Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
Look, I didn't watch Zexal, so I'm a little confused myself.
Yeah, continue.
But like it didn't seem like it was going to be a big deal until everyone realized that Mizar's skill was not once per duel. It helped get Safrit to your hand, but also searched out the Omni Negate. Yeah.
Okay.
But also it searched the Omni Negate trap card to your hand.
Oh, like Galaxy or Tachyon.
I don't know its name.
I forget what it's called.
It's this black crystal-looking thing that negates your cards, and it can even activate in hand for some ungodly reason. And it's extremely consistent. The deck plays basically just good stuff. Easy to summon level 8 dragons, and they can easily set up 2 Xyz monsters on turn 1, and they'll have that counter trap in hand. The deck is versatile. It's lean, so they can pack it in with a bunch of useful traps and hand traps, and it's a really horrible time to play against. Right now, I haven't been FTK'd by it, but people are telling me you can be FTK'd by it. So.
Yeah, I saw in the comments of that video people were complaining that there is currently like a tier 0 formatted Duel Links.
The deck is a nightmare.
That sounds really intense for Duel Links standards. I mean, have they ever had to like do an emergency ban list sort of thing in Duel Links or something esque?
They have done it usually before like their like Kaiba Cup tournaments and whatnot. That does not seem to be happening in this case. I think we'll be doing the entire KCC grind with full power Tachyon, which does not sound like fun at all. I've been playing zombies and not Shiranui, which have proven to be quite potent. Shiranui, I think, would be considered like one of the best decks if Tachyon went around just smacking people around.
Yeah, they might have to like hit that kind of.
It would help, honestly, because there's still quite a few very good decks in Duel Links. But they can't handle the sheer versatility and consistency of the Tachyon deck because we still have Mayakashi, which is very strong. We have Shiranui, which is very strong. We have Live Twin, which actually isn't bad at all. There's actually, I'm missing some decks, but there's a lot of really strong decks in Duel Links, but Tachyon just does not care.
Powers through it all. That's interesting. I didn't expect that to be like a top tier thing, but I suppose it makes some sense.
And because Mizar's skill it's like his own skill, there are a lot of people just using the Mizar character, but running a different skill on him for a different deck. Because we now have the archive skills in Duel Links. So we have skills that are not locked into a character. You can put them on any character. So you select Mizar as your character, basically telling your opponent, hey, I'm playing Tachyon, cry. And then you hit them with a completely different strategy.
Yeah.
And so, because it can make your opponent make some less than optimal plays.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, I don't play too much Duel Links, so I'm never in the loop about like what the best decks are. But it's Tachyon Transmigration. That's the name of the card, isn't it?
Probably. I don't read it. I just suffer.
I remember I played the Photon deck, and I think that was what the card was. It's so wild to me that like they are doing that thing with these skills where like stuff just comes to your hand and all that, like at the beginning of
just
duels.
Fly to your hand, fly to your grave. They set things up. Yeah. I complain, but I use the Odd Eye skill aggressively to make my Raging Dragon, so...
Yeah, well, tell me a little bit more about what you mean by Duel Links being a better game than Master Duel. Alec made a video about this on the channel like yesterday, if y'all want to see it.
That I made.
Well, no, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that it's like an objectively wrong opinion or something.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime series, multiple of them, in fact, and... but I don't play a lot of Master Duel, and the reason why is because Master Duel to me is just another version of the TCG, and so that just means that it has all the problems of the TCG, just as a little bit. It's just easier to get cards. While Duel Links, it's a completely different format, so I don't have to feel like I am a slave to the same TCG metagame that I've been dealing with for years, but also there's a stupid amount of anime references, and I really enjoy those. Even from Yu-Gi-Oh series that I didn't watch, I found myself in the Vrains world, in the Zexal world a lot lately, And I've really enjoyed all the anime references, despite the fact that I didn't even watch all of either one of them or even enjoy one of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I find Duel Links very easy and fun to play. It does have its issues. It's a gacha game.
Yeah, I hear it's very, very. Some people say cruel with the microtransactions, kind of.
You pretty much
demanding your money.
If you want Duel Links to be free to play, you have to aggressively grind it. You have to put in the hours. There's no way around it. But if you're like me and you've had an account for years, and so you've been unlocking worlds and unlocking characters and not developing them, there's a lot of free currency that's just up for grabs. You just gotta put in some time, and you can pull as many packs as you want. You can build some cool stuff, and you don't have to even touch PvP. Like, it's a completely optional thing in Duel Links.
Yeah, that's interesting. The way I've always seen Duel Links is like, I think it is a better Yu-Gi-Oh game than Master Duel is. Mm-hmm. And by Yu-Gi-Oh game, I mean like Yu-Gi-Oh the IP game. Right. So there's like all the different kind of alternate game modes, the different like worlds and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I know there's like turbo dueling from like 5D. There's like entertainment dueling from
Action
Duel from Mark V. Things like that feel like they're really allowing you to explore the worlds of the anime.
Tag dueling is really fun.
Yeah, there's tag dueling.
Especially in the Pendulum Arc 5 one. That was fun.
Yeah, I think that with those, there's obviously a lot to explore. And I think that there's like, it keeps it fresh. Mm-hmm. There's voice acting and stuff like that, which...
I love the paired characters like Yuma and Astral and, Ai and Yusaku or Playmaker, where both characters are talking. Usually they have their own little like conversations and quibbles during the match, which is fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that they transform together and stuff.
Yeah, they do the Zexomorph where they finally see eye to eye.
Yeah, which I think is like so if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh like the IP fan, I think Duel Links is probably a better game. It feels more true to the source material and stuff. Whereas meanwhile, Master Duel does not really reference the anime at all. It's just kind of like play the cards.
Play the cards. If you enjoy the TCG, you'll enjoy Master Duel.
Probably. Depends on how much you like Maxi.
Yeah, it depends on how you feel about Maxi.
But I do think like Master Duel doesn't feel like as much of a like Yu-Gi-Oh anime game. It's just more of a Yu-Gi-Oh card game.
But my biggest strike against Master Duel, because I could leave all that alone about not having the anime. My issue with Master Duel is it does not have anything to do outside of PvP. You have the gates, but once you clear the gates, that's it.
Yeah, Master Duel, it's got a severe, I don't say like, severe, well, I mean, you ladder.
Yeah.
And if you aren't laddering, then I guess you can play in whatever the current event is, but like the fact that there aren't really like alternate fun different game modes could be seen as a weakness that like Duel Links covers way, way, way better. I know some people bring up the monetization thing, where like Duel Links seems like it, from what I've heard, asks a little bit more of your wallet than Master Duel does. Duel,
that's true.
It's crazy actually that people will sometimes call Master Duel like a money grab when, in my opinion, it is on the kinder end of like, mobile games that have microtransactions. You really can just
Master Duel is actually quite kind, but you have to be. But like Paul's perspective is quite different. Paul's a pretty aggressive Master Duel player. When he's playing Master Duel,
I do play a lot.
He gets it out of Master Duel, and so Paul will get plenty of currency. And since he's one of those people that gets satisfied with his decks, he doesn't spend the currency as soon as he gets it. So when it comes time for him to build a new deck.
You're saying him, like I'm not right across.
Well, I'm talking to them to let them know.
You're talking to me. We're talking to each other.
Okay, I was letting them know. Anyway.
They're just listening in.
When you play, you'll have the currency, or it won't take you too much more effort to get there. But when I play...
Yeah, like if you take like big breaks, or if you're not like a frequent player, it's not even... Okay, to even go a step further than that, it's not even a matter of like that you can't take breaks and stuff. It's more like if you want the shiny new thing out of nowhere, then you're like in trouble. So it's like Snake Eye just came out and I know you want it.
Yeah. But ask me how many gems I had when I logged in.
Oh, I don't want to know.
100.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, is if you play regularly, you'll have enough gems to kind of like buy packs and kind of figure stuff out. You'll be doing the dual pass. You'll get the free material and stuff from that, or not free, but more or less free material from that. But like if somebody just heard, oh my god, Snake Eyes and Master Duel, and I want to like play it now, and I've never played Master Duel before or whatever, I haven't played in like months, that might be a little bit tougher. So it's a matter of like how much patience do you have? Are you willing to commit to the like continual lifestyle of like kind of playing a good bit each week?
Yeah, you have to grind a little in Master Duel, but if you do, the game is actually quite free to play friendly.
It's very sustainable. I think it will reward you with sustainability.
Because I was surprised that the new cards that they just released were craftable. I assumed that they weren't going to be craftable to force you to have to grind for gems and open packs. But if you can craft them, that means you can do both, and you'll build. You can do both, and you'll usually get stuff quickly.
I think the people who complain about Master Duel being like just like this expensive cash grab are people who are I hesitate to use the word greedy, but I will say people who are maybe impatient.
Yeah.
Where like I want to build every top deck, all of them as soon as they come out, like all the time. And that's just not really feasible without maybe being willing to spend a little bit.
And it's crazy when I think about it. Master Duel doesn't even charge you for the accessories. They're also
everything's paid in gems.
It's all gems. So if you can earn gems, you can have anything that's in the game.
And you can earn gems by just doing your dailies. Like log in every day, get X amount of Xyz summons or X amount of damage in, and like you'll just get gems. So, I think Master Duel's pretty good in that regard, but I do see where like a Yu-Gi-Oh player who likes like, Yu-Gi-Oh, the characters, the world, might not get as much out of Master Duel. It also comes down to, do you like the 3D animations of Duel Links versus maybe the 2D kind of like animated, like live 2D summon animations. Things like that are more subjective though, so I can't really like...
And in the case of like Duel Links, those are almost always just relegated to like anime cards and whatnot.
Yeah, so I think that honestly both games are really quite good. The fact that they were both represented at the Tokyo Dome event too also lets me know that like, hey, Konami still cares about both. Like they're still, putting their attention to both and not just, forsaking Duel Links for Master Duel.
I think that'd be a horrible mistake.
Yeah, because Duel Links has a lot to offer, so.
It's all we get. It's all the Yu-Gi-Oh anime we have now.
Yeah, basically. I mean, hey, you don't want to go Rush, man? Yu-Gi-Oh Go Rush? No?
I don't have cable.
I don't know how you watch it, actually. I don't know what the means of it. You probably have a Crunchyroll or something? I don't know.
I never finished Sevens.
Yeah, so. Anywho, any other Yu-Gi-Oh news? I feel like we've cut through most of it.
That was a lot of stuff. Like, if we missed it, it wasn't important, I guess.
Update on Phantom Nightmare. We went to our sneak peek last week.
Oh, yeah, we did. We played one round.
Yeah, as we mentioned that we would. We went. I played in one round of the tournament, hoping to maybe be able to get the mat they were giving away. I did not get it.
Nope.
So I played without a side deck.
Same.
I kind of was just there to just get the experience. It was nice, though. Our locals has not had a sneak peek since Phantom Nightmare.
No, this is Phantom Nightmare.
Wait, what is that? A set that sounds a lot like Phantom Nightmare. It was in 2020. It had Zeus in it. What was it? It had Tri-Brigade and Zeus. It was right there, Return of the Duelist.
Oh, I don't remember anymore.
Oh my god, what is that set called? I am so mad that I can't remember this.
Don't look at me. If you don't remember, I don't remember.
Well, either way, someone in chat, one of you will know. The set that came after, it's been a while.
It actually brought out quite a few Yu-Gi-Oh players. It brought us out the woodwork because we usually don't attend to many of the our local Yu-Gi-Oh locals.
Well, they don't have tournaments that much, so there's that part.
They can be a bit infrequent, and the days can be inconvenient. But I mean, I saw just about every
Phantom Rage. I got it mixed. Yeah, Phantom Rage. So okay.
Yeah, I mean, it brought everyone out the woodwork. I saw pretty much. It felt like every Yu-Gi-Oh player in our area was there. It almost felt like a reunion in a weird way.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to maybe build like the voiceless voice deck. See what that's about. And I know you're doing Yu-Bell.
Yeah, as far as like new decks, I'm building Yu-Bell. I want a bunch of the like kind of smaller, less popular cards. I think they have a lot of fun text in this set.
Yeah. So that looked pretty neat. A lot of people, one of the conversations I kind of heard about that is just that like most of the cards are, the good cards are ultra rare as opposed to secret rare, which we kind of touched on last week. I think that's kind of cool. It seems like it makes it a little easier to get the stuff you want if you're just opening packs. But some people feel that it maybe does not give the set as much high value stuff.
Yeah,
so
the
your
secrets are
won't
not
be
very desirable. I mean,
that's a question for chat. If you guys are listening on YouTube Premiere, we might put up a poll. Do you think that do you prefer like kind of the rarity distribution of this set, Phantom Nightmare, where you get more like good cards as ultras, or do you prefer Age of Overlord, where more of the good cards are secrets, and how each of those things affects the viability of getting certain pulls or the value that you might get out of a certain pack?
We saw someone pull a quarter century Horus, the Black Flame Deity.
Yeah.
Which I thought was sick. Turns out, people don't want it that bad.
I mean, people aren't super into Horus. Like, they're into the Horus engine,
but the boss monster is not necessary.
See, I wanted to build a pure Horus deck. I might give that a crack as well.
Gotta get you some Imsetis, dog.
That's the problem. I don't want to get Imseti.
Do I have an Imseti? I might have an Imseti.
I'll order some proxies.
There you go.
I'll order some proxies.
Go.
I'm not...
Proxy gang.
That's actually one thing that I was going to mention too, is I think Master Duel has spoiled me in a weird way, where like I'm just used to like if I want a card, I just craft it. Mm-hmm. And so it's like weird when I sometimes will like hop back to kind of physical for a bit, and like there's just staple cards or something that I don't have, right. Or like just some card where it's like, oh, this is like $70, and I'm just like, what? I can't just like craft it. I can't just like kind of like spawn one in my hand.
It kind of reminds me of my Duel Links Phantom Need emotion that I get when I'm going through just like random Yu-Gi-Oh bulk. I'll just see cards that I need in Duel Links, like, oh, I needed this, and try to put it to the side. Like, wait, I only needed this in Duel Links. I don't need this in real life. Like, I saw a DD Crow, and I was like, oh, I need this. Like, no, I don't need a DD Crow. I need one in Duel Links, and having like 7 real ones doesn't give me one digitally.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird, because like I want to build the Horus deck, but like I'm saying, like however much money, it's like I'm not buying that. So I guess I gotta just be like a reprint waiter.
Yeah.
Just wait for however many months, years in some cases that it takes. Yeah, some power crept, and then I can get
power crept their band.
Yeah, get my copy then. But maybe neither one. Maybe you can just wait, and it's still decent when it gets reprinted. Not often the case, but you know.
Oh, Paul.
Anywho, I think that's all the Yu-Gi-Oh news.
It better be. We've been talking about Yu-Gi-Oh for like an hour.
Yeah, I feel like we've covered a fair bit.
How dare we talk about Yu-Gi-Oh on this Yu-Gi-Oh podcast?
Yeah, I know. Nothing makes me sicker. No, I like talking about Yu-Gi-Oh because this has been an exciting week to talk about it.
Which means we're gonna go into a down period.
Oh yeah, I guess one last quick reminder. This is vaguely Yu-Gi-Oh related. We will be at TCG Con
out there in
Houston, Texas this weekend.
I said Houston.
If you guys are going to be there, definitely come through, say hi. I think you can still actually buy tickets for it, even as late as today.
Yeah, we're rolling in deep.
And use the code APS, and you'll get 20% off your ticket sales. We'll be there, as well as Chris, Trell, and Larry. You can come say hi, have some duels, have some trades, and everything else. Okay.
And guys, just wanted to let you know, I'm having some financial issues. I might just be trying to sell cards, so... come
and just take all of Alex's stuff.
Coming by.
Okay. A final really quick one I just remembered. There's reprints in the next OTS pack. Yeah, they've shown that we're going to be getting Ultimate Rare, Pirelli Sleepy Memory, Chaos Angel, and Rock of the Vanquisher will all be in here. I think they also have Harpy's Feather Duster and Saphira Queen of Dragons, which I don't know if that means that there's only 3 ultimates like normal, if there's like 5.
Well, I don't think that... I mean, I could see Harpies getting an ulti, but Saphira?
Well, that makes... Because Voiceless Voice.
But I feel like that just needed a reprint in general, not necessarily an ulti.
I think the first 3 are the ultis, and everything else is just like supers.
I could see that.
So, anyways, this is a quick thing. Okay, done with Yu-Gi-Oh!
All right. Other TCG news, which I don't have too much of, but I do have 2. What about you?
I've got a couple stories.
All right, I'll start. So, it's kind of crazy that I'm going to be talking about the Van Gogh Pikachu for like the 3rd time on this podcast.
Oh, Lord, is there more?
Yeah, so we heard about the Van Gogh Museum Pikachu that caused fights, riots, and even theft to the point where 3 employees had to be fired. Well, now the Pokemon Company, they've apologized, and they have announced that they will be reprinting that Pikachu. So all you people who paid hundreds of dollars for a copy, I'm sorry. But yeah, but according to Poke Beach, a site dedicated to the Pokemon TCG, the company has announced that the card is going to be put on sale again with the possible objective of deflating its value in the market. That's interesting that the Pokemon company would actually acknowledge the secondary market and purposefully try to bring its price down.
Wait, so they're
reprinting
it. Okay.
We don't know exactly how they're going to sell it, but it seems the goal is to drop the value on that card.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, like, it's weird that, like you said, that they're like acknowledging kind of the secondary market problem.
Konami doesn't even know it. They say it doesn't exist. Like, what secondary market?
Yeah, that's interesting.
And we talk about this like Pikachu with the hat as if it's an actual Van Gogh piece, but it's not. It's just made in his style.
Yeah, it's just kind of stylistically like that. Okay, I mean, hey, that's cool. So here's something kind of interesting.
What you got?
There was IGN published a Star Wars Unlimited sort of early game preview. So check out IGN's preview of the new Star Wars trading card game. The headline is, like the Death Star, Star Wars Unlimited has incredible power and a notable flaw. Any guesses what the notable flaw is? Anybody listening at home? What do you think it is?
Is it a small exhaust port about the size of a Womp Rat?
The upcoming trading card game. Yeah, I don't know any of this. The upcoming trading card game, Star Wars Unlimited, is off to a promising start. If the 2 starter decks I tried out are any indication, well, nice to know that some games have good starter deck products.
Woo!
If it has you step into the role of an iconic Star Wars character, battle it out on the ground and in space, and use all manner of weapons, vehicles, and allies to destroy the opponent's base and claim victory, Alec.
Makes sense to me.
Unlimited sets itself apart from the big 3 card games, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon, by constantly bouncing back and forth between each player, creating a fun rhythm that keeps you on your toes. But while the Force is strong with its gameplay, its artwork doesn't exactly have a high midichlorian count? Midichlorian count?
Yeah.
Okay.
Paul doesn't know Star Wars.
So they have this like long article and there's like some pictures of it in play. And I'm not going to lie, it looks neat. I'm just going to kind of skim through some high points. It was clearly designed by people who are longtime TCG fans with numerous rules and mechanics that reduce common criticisms of other games in order to amp up the fun and strategy. For example, you start each match with 2 resources to spend rather than having to build up from nothing in games like Magic. Speaking of resources, any card can become the resource used to pay card costs, rather than having dedicated resource cards such as lands or energies.
Okay.
So there's no chance of getting mana screwed or flooded. What a relief.
So so that kind of reminds me a bit of how in the One Piece card game they ramp up the Dawn system, that's the energy, quite quickly, so you never feel starved. But also, any card can be your mana, like in Lorcana, where most cards are inkable.
The biggest departure from your typical TCG is how both players effectively take their turns in the same round, called the action phase. We play Yu-Gi-Oh! We're used to this. Each player takes one action at a time, back and forth, until both players pass, not unlike Legends of Runeterra. Then, the regroup phase has both players draw 2 cards, put down another resource, and ready up their cards for another round of battle.
That's so interesting. So it's a literal shared turn.
So you take like one action at a time. Like I do something, you do something, I do something.
We both draw, then I go, then you go, then I go, then you go.
Only taking one action at a time took a lot of getting used to, and my opponent, a Magic veteran, often tried to play additional actions out of habit. It's nearly impossible to carry out a strict plan for your turn because your opponent's next action can and often will disrupt your line of play by destroying your units, bolstering your defenses, or using game-changing abilities. You're constantly forced to think on your toes and pivot to a new plan based on the ever-changing board state.
Feels like a highly disruptive game.
There's no way to interrupt your opponent with a counter spell or trap card, so it all comes down to trying to outmaneuver them. In that sense, it's not unlike a game of chess where one chess piece is moved at a time, slowly building an advantage until you can lock up the win. Cool. Okay, now a last thing, another unique aspect of Unlimited is the dual battlefield, which is split between ground and space. Characters and land vehicles are played on the ground, while X-Wings, TIE fighters, and other spaceships are placed on the space side of the board. Units of one type can only attack other units in the same zone, so a ground unit can attack opposing ground units but not space units. That's actually pretty cool sounding.
Makes sense.
However, a small number of cards can interact with the others, such as TIE Bomber hitting ground units with a bombing run. Matches have you constantly fighting a war on two fronts, and paying attention to both is key. If you leave one zone uncontested, your opponent will be free to build a huge force and blast your base with reckless abandon. Pretty much every Star Wars movie has an exciting dogfight in space along with an epic confrontation on land, and Unlimited does a great job indulging both fantasies.
It does kind of remind me of the Star Wars Battlefront series where you fought a battle on the ground, but then you could like fly up into space and attack their capital ships and whatnot. That was cool.
You also got leader cards that can influence the game. So they say that easily the most exciting part is utilizing your leader card in various ways. An iconic Star Wars character that starts the game off the board and has the ability to use a minor power to influence the game, such as Luke Skywalker giving his allies shields or Darth Vader dishing out a bit of damage.
So your leader is your commander, your deck master, your captain. Got it.
Yeah, well, so it has a passive ability throughout the whole game, and then a new ability whenever it like comes onto the board. So once you have a certain number of resources, you can activate your leader and have them take the field. They don't have summoning sickness like regular cards. They can immediately start attacking and make use of powerful abilities that instantly change the tide of battle.
That's what the Yu-Gi-Oh Deckmaster format needs. Cards that have passive abilities while they're not on board.
When Darth Vader's played late in the match, it feels like Darth Vader's showing up. He has big stats and a strong ability that lets him decimate the opponent's board. And if you equip him with his signature red lightsaber, he can unleash another instance of damage. Luke is the less flashy of the two starter deck leaders, but his shields will absorb all damage from one attack, and you're able to continually regenerate them. So they can make your units stubbornly difficult to get rid of.
Boo, he's defensive.
Yeah, so pretty much every card has spot-on flavor, with Obi-Wan granting a stat boost to another character after he's struck down, and the I Am Your Father event, forcing your opponent to make a tough choice that can completely change the course of the game. Your decisions feel like they have a huge impact, making each passing turn feel more and more exciting until the dust settles and a winner is declared.
Okay, then.
Now let's see what they have to say about this art, because I'm going to skip through the rest of this.
I am curious about the low midichlorian count here.
What does that mean?
Oh God, that gets into Star Wars lore. You sure you want to know?
In short, what's it mean?
So in one of the original Star Wars films, they introduced the concept of midichlorians, which are kind of like for the force molecules in a sense.
Okay.
And
so like the more
it's kind
you
of
have,
like the particles that make up the force in a way. But that is I'm not sure how canon that is anymore.
Okay, well, anywho, we're going to see why they have a low midichlorian count.
I am curious.
While my first impression of Star Wars Unlimited TCG is largely positive, there's one aspect that left me wanting. The artwork, while serviceable, looks subpar, especially when compared to other popular card games, or even FFG's previous Star Wars effort, Star Wars Destiny. I believe it's like a deck builder game?
I've never played it.
I don't know, it feels like maybe it's that. It's hard to flip through a pack of Pokemon or Disney's Lorcana without being impressed by the artwork, but the same can't be said for Unlimited with its flat colors and odd-looking faces. It seems like they tried to go for a comic booky art style, and in some cases it works well, mainly with spaceships and vehicles, but it ends up looking rather unfortunate when characters are depicted.
I gotta see this, I'm curious.
So Star Wars Destiny's on the left, but Star Wars Unlimited's on the right.
Oh, okay. See, that gives me a Marvel Snap kind of vibe.
Yeah. That said, it's not all bad. There are several different art styles, so if anime Han Solo isn't doing it for you, then perhaps a more photorealistic Luke Skywalker will. But no matter which way you slice it with your lightsaber, the art we've seen so far from Star Wars Unlimited is missing that vitally important wow factor. The layout of the cards is mostly well executed with the various icons, attributes, and stats displayed well, except for the event cards. The design of event cards threw us for a loop because the art box is on the bottom and the text is up top. An example. Well,
yep.
Yeah.
That while it is strange, I think that's so that you can definitely point out an event card versus any other kind of card in the game.
Yeah, so he says, I appreciate the designers tried something different, and it does serve to make event cards immediately recognizable, but it just didn't work. Aside from looking strange, it made quickly scanning your hand awkward because the card information is all in different places.
Yeah, you also might think that you gotta turn your cards around. Oh, I got an upside down card.
Yeah, so, pretty cool. Just neat stuff. That's the, that's the little preview of Star Wars Unlimited. Overall, they say that it seems fun. I think that the back and forth game style seems like something that would be.
It is. That is very interesting. It kind of reminds me of like the Universus system, or even Flesh and Blood's system, where you and your opponent take turns, kind of attacking or defending. Mm-hmm. And then once you both pass on the combat phase, then you resolve all the cards. So it's like one long combat chain. So that's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, would you be interested in giving this a shot now, having heard this information?
I gotta see some more cards.
Okay.
For me, it's all about the aesthetic. If that can get me, then we'll see.
Well, Star Wars TCG, if you guys want to reach out to our email, Alec would be more than happy to give the game a crack.
Maybe they'll have it at TCG Con. It's called TCG Con.
I know they'll be there. If they are, that'd be cool. Yeah, you can slide us a couple starter decks or whatever. Maybe you can give it a try.
I mentioned this story last week, but I finally found like an article to write up about it, so I can finally talk about it more properly. Is the Digimon Liberator manga has been announced.
Okay.
So Digimon is gearing up for a brand new story. Not long ago, the team behind Digimon announced the franchise has a new manga in the works. The series bears the name Digimon Liberator, and it will follow two teens as they explore the Digimon universe in all its high tech. As you can see below, it's a picture that you guys can't see. Digimon Liberator released its first key visual, and it has a lot going on. In the image, we can see one of four tamers. They call them trainers, but they're tamers. Come on, guys. In the back, as they face a massive Mon, it looks like it's a black Imperial Dramon. Thankfully, he is not alone, as a number of Digimon partners are by his side. But the question remains how our hero got into this sticky situation. According to the team, Digimon Liberator will begin in spring 2024, so not long, and it will be housed on a yet-named web catalog. So it'll be on some site, who knows. The manga plans to tie in with a new Digimon TCG set sharing the same name. We will be getting a set called Digimon Liberator. This prompted the Digimon TCG team to drop some special info about the project, and it seems Digimon Liberator will put up a character named Kazama Shoto center stage. That seems to be our goggle-wearing main character. It says, Kazama Shoto, a boy with a habit of giving up and a hard time winning card battles, sets foot in the world of Liberator through the invitation of his childhood friend, Kinosaki Arisa, which that's kind of a funny plot, because in like the Re-Arise series, or Digimon Arise, the main character gets into Digimon battling because a friend kind of invites him in, and he then proves to be better than all of them at it. But anyway, coming across Teromon, a new bird-like Digimon we saw in the TCG, and others who are wild Digimon, battles with NPCs that have gone berserk, these various encounters set the gears of fate in motion in a significant way. This is a story about Digimon and the world, the blurb reads. So, following the vein of Yu-Gi-Oh, it seems the new Digimon series will follow Kazama and his friends as they summon partners using cards. The manga appears to be more about tournaments than first-person adventures. So it's going to be more like reading or watching the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, or watching the Card Fight Vanguard anime, where it's like about card players.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, hey guys, we're trapped in a digital world, and look, a Tyrannomon wants to make friends. No, it's trying to eat us.
Yeah. Okay. So, just to recap what this is, because I feel like I maybe had forgotten. This is a new Digimon manga that has a unique, original story that is meant to basically kind of be fleshed out through the Digimon card game.
Yes, I would call it kind of like a Digimon TCG project called Digimon Liberator.
Okay.
Where it's going to be on two fronts. You're going to have a manga, and you're going to have the card game. The manga will tell a story, and then the card game will support the story by printing the characters and Digimon the story introduces. And for once, it'll feel similar because the characters are playing the Digimon card game, and so will you.
Right, okay. Interesting. Yeah, so I, as a Digimon person, what are your thoughts on it?
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Okay.
It's a sure sign that Bandai is continuing to support the Digimon card game, though they also setting up the same thing with the Dragon Ball's reboot. But we're not gonna get into all that. But it's very interesting having a narrative to follow with the card game. We got a taste of that with the Digimon Seekers web novel, since that was a story that got cards printed, but the two things weren't connected in any way outside of just, oh, they had characters, we had cards. Now we have a stronger connection, and we're even getting a set named Digimon Liberator to tie it all together.
Right. Okay. Well, cool. I mean, I guess that was actually mentioned before, and you just got some more info on it. Something else I saw in the comment. Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was because finding Bandai news is a headache.
It seems a little hard. Yeah, and speaking of that, I saw somebody in the comments from last week said something about the Digimon Japan and English are going to be having the sets released at the same time. That was something that was, I guess, announced or confirmed at the Bandai Card Game
There were
Fest.
a lot of announcements, and that was one of them, that we are syncing up the global release schedule with the Japanese release schedule of the Digimon card game. I didn't mention it because I can't find any official mentions of it. It was announced in the live stream that has been taken down, and then as far as North America is concerned, they haven't announced anything that was really announced during the card game fest.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to talk about it unless I could just point to some conclusive evidence of it. But it did happen. We should be merging our set releases this year. In fact, we're actually going to get more products than usual, and they're even combining certain Japanese sets into one set for us. I don't remember the exact set numbers, but if we had some Bandai reporting, I could tell you exactly which sets are being combined. But they're going to consolidate sets so that we can line up with the Japanese come 2025.
Okay, maybe there is a Bandai news source that we aren't aware of. So if somebody on the internet
please
has
point me to it.
Some sort of a way of doing that.
Not a Discord.
Cool.
Don't point me to a Discord.
Okay, yeah, well that's cool though. I mean, that's something that Yu-Gi-Oh's or some TCG players have wanted for a while, is being able to just kind of be in sync with the with the OCG. And you see more and more game series doing that these days. Like Pokemon started doing that, starting with I want to say it was Gen 6 maybe, where the games would come out at the same time for Japan and the United States or just the West. Sorry, not just the United States, the West.
It's easier the more digital a game is. I know with card games, it's harder because of the supply chain issues. We've seen that hit them before. It can be a little turbulent.
It just can make card games easier to keep up with, I think, when the format, because I'm kind of ignorant. I can only talk about Yu-Gi-Oh here. People always be like, oh my god, this was really good in the OCG. Yeah, but they have Max C, or yeah, but they have this other card, or they've got this thing that were released at this time and we don't have that yet. So it would be easier to talk about the game and I think connect players across the world if we were all playing the same format.
I mean, it's much the same in the Digimon community. We're always 2.5 sets behind Japan, and so that can be a headache.
So they're going to be changing that. It sounds like good news to me. Cool. Well, anyway, I've got a quick little gaming story. It's not really a story. It's kind of more so, I guess you could just call it an announcement of an announcement sort of thing. I swear to God,
if it's Pal World.
It's not Pal World, thankfully. Cool. So this is information around the Xbox brand. So you might have heard some announcements about certain Xbox exclusive titles that are supposedly going to be coming to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want to actually. You know what? I can probably find a list of them. But there are some Xbox exclusive titles that are going to be coming to PlayStation. And these announcements, some were rumors, some were announcements or whatever. Like Starfield, for instance. Or Gears of War might be going to PlayStation.
That's a surprise. Gears of War has been on Xbox only for so long.
Yeah. So Microsoft is planning to share details about its plans to bring Hi-Fi Rush and other Xbox exclusives to PS5 and Nintendo Switch consoles, according to sources familiar with Microsoft's plans. Details of Microsoft's multi-platform plans have been gradually leaking. The upcoming Indiana Jones game, which I didn't know about, is being developed or being considered for PS5. And now Microsoft is getting ready to outline the future of Xbox next week after a weekend of leaks and uncertainty for Xbox fans. So Phil Spencer, the lead at Xbox, says, "We're listening and we hear you," says Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer in a post on X. "We've been planning a business update event for next week where we look forward to sharing more details about our vision for the future of Xbox." there's a lot of speculation about this, mainly because the idea is that maybe Microsoft will be pulling out of the physical hardware business and like being like Xbox, the game console, and maybe now just being like Microsoft, the games service, where they publish games, but the games are just on PC, they're on Game Pass, but they're also like on PS5 and like Switch and stuff. And so there's no more, presumably, obviously this is just like speculation, that they're like the Xbox Series X and Series S are like the last like Xbox consoles that will happen.
I mean,
and now it will just become perhaps like a service.
You can kind of look at the direction Xbox has been going with their latest consoles, and it makes some sense, as they've been the pioneers of moving towards like digitizing their games more. They didn't even want their latest consoles to have the ability to run physical discs. They wanted their games to be completely online. I expected an announcement that they're going into like becoming a streaming service more so, where your Xbox is a much smaller device and it just streams games.
Yeah, you didn't want it to be a streaming box. I think they would like that. I mean, so this is obviously coming from somebody who I do not like own an Xbox console. I haven't had one since a 360 back in the day. So I'm probably not the best person to like really sound off on this, but I'd love to hear what
How'd you like that red ring? That red ring of death.
I don't think I ever got a red ring.
Oh.
Luckily, but maybe I did. I don't remember. It's been a while. I had that old Xbox 360. They got them though. So I never got one like the Slims. But yeah. So as somebody who does not like own an Xbox console, this isn't like huge news for me personally. I know that for a lot of people, they've kind of seen this as like Xbox gave up, right? Like they gave up.
Yeah,
they threw in the towel. Yeah, they threw in the towel against Sony. Sony won the console wars forever. They've won, Alec. They beat them. It's over. Pack it up. No, I mean, I think this is fine because like if this is the case, and we don't even know that it is the case, but if it is the case, I mean, Microsoft just got like Activision Blizzard. Like they've got so many games under their belt. They're doing
they're not done by a long shot.
Yeah, like I think that them just publishing games is a fine decision. It might even be more like economical in a way because we do know that making consoles has traditionally been something that's done at a loss.
Right.
Like they sell the console to you at a loss, and then they make their profits from like selling you games and stuff and like services.
And Microsoft does not owe like the gaming industry anything of that sort. Consoles were first developed by the Japanese. Sony's a Japanese company. They're more traditional. They're unlikely to discontinue making consoles because that's a part of like the culture, that has been established over there. Microsoft said, "Hey, we just got into it because other people were doing it. We can leave just as soon as we started." Like,
yeah, I mean, I think like the weirdest part about it, I think for a lot of people, is just that so many of us grew up on the idea of kind of competing consoles since we were all kids, whether it was like Dreamcast days, like that sort of thing, or Sega. Like N64, PS1, all that stuff. There's always kind of, it's felt like there's always been like a Sony versus Microsoft or Nintendo versus Sega or just something. And it'll be weird to basically kind of go into an era if this happens where Xbox is if they're even calling it like kind of Xbox per se, Microsoft is just publishing games. Yeah. And you play them wherever. I think that's cool. I think it's very futuristic. I think it kind of reminds me of how like you can play Fortnite on literally anything with a screen. You can play it on your toaster.
I mean,
but I think that for like a longtime fan, you might feel a bit betrayed.
And I can see that.
I suppose.
For Microsoft as a company, it never quite made sense that they had their own console brand, right? Mm-hmm. But also the vast majority of PCs ran on Microsoft.
Yeah, like Windows or
Windows, and that's Windows is Microsoft's product, and a very large amount of gamers play on PC. So in a weird sense, Microsoft had two consoles.
It did feel that way when Game Pass kind of got to the point where like you could have Game Pass and just like I technically have Game Pass and I don't have an Xbox.
Yeah,
like I could have it and just play my games on PC
because they have what is it called, the Microsoft Store on PC.
Well, yeah, I think Windows has like the Microsoft Store, but I thought that was for apps. I think Game Pass is
I forget
You know what? Don't
exactly
don't
how
listen
it
to
works.
either of us.
I've used it, but I forgot how I used it. Because I played Sea of Thieves using Game Pass.
Yeah,
but I
I
don't
did
anymore.
too. I played Sea of Thieves with Game Pass. That was a cool time. If that ends up being what they announce, like, hey, we're just gonna kind of like put these Xbox games everywhere, I think that's a win. I don't see a loss there, or at least I think it's only a loss if you like obsess over console wars.
It could be cool if they establish Xbox as now a publishing company, where
Which I
now
thought it kind of was.
their games, like Xbox exclusive games, released through the Xbox publishing, so they still have the Xbox logo on them. I think that would be cool.
They probably are planning something like that. I know there's been some outcry on the internet, but I will. Well, I guess we'll just wait and see what Phil has to tell us about the future of Xbox.
I mean, consoles die, man. I mean, there were Dreamcast diehards, and they had to just let it go.
Well, so I hesitate to use the word die because I feel like death suggests that it just failed and things went wrong and had to like pull the plug.
I meant more so that it's reached the end point of its life.
But yeah, I think you're right in that regard. It's more like they've just decided that they're at a point where they do not need Xbox, the physical hardware product, anymore.
In fact, I think Microsoft might be making the smarter decision of the big gaming companies by not feeling beholden to consoles, by not having to adhere to tradition. They're more versatile and they can make the best moves for their company and maybe even gaming in general. So this actually might be...
It might be the right call.
Yeah, this might save gaming. But you know what I mean.
Use our buzzwords carefully. Save gaming. Microsoft died. Xbox died. Sony won. Whatever.
Oh god, Xbox died for our gaming sins, and now
I don't think I don't think anyone can die enough for all the gaming sins at this point. And no hope for that. Anyway, yes, that's the story. I think that could be kind of cool. I'll be looking into it. See what there is to see in the future of Xbox. Got anything else for us?
So I have a not so typical story.
Okay.
This one deals with Star Wars.
Does it?
Yes. So you didn't watch The Mandalorian.
I didn't.
But the Mandalorian season 1 was very popular, and its kind of biggest star outside of Baby Yoda was actually not the Mandalorian himself.
Okay.
It was Cara Dune, played by Gina Carano, who was a breakout star in that series, so much so that Disney said, well, we're going to go ahead and give her her own spinoff because people love her.
Yeah.
Well, Gina, she has some pretty strong political views, which isn't usually a problem, but she was very, very vocal about them and offended people pretty constantly. Okay. And at some point, she said something that offended the producers or the people in charge of her show. And so she got kicked off The Mandalorian and basically blacklisted from Disney at the bare minimum and probably all major roles afterwards. Anyway, so she's now suing Disney, and Elon Musk is funding her to do it.
What? So she's suing them, I guess, for what?
For wrongful termination and discrimination.
Discrimination. What did she say? If it's like okay to say on
I don't think what's the so she said a lot of things, but the one thing that I kind of triggered it off,
broke the camel's back, so to speak.
They don't have a quote here, but I remember it for the most part. She compared the plight of the right-wing Trump supporter to that of the Jewish people during the Holocaust.
Ooh, that's extreme.
It was pretty extreme. Okay. Not an equivalent take at all, but she said it, and in her mind, I have a freedom of speech. I can say what I want, but they don't have to employ you. You can say what you want, but no one has to employ you for saying things like this. And so she kind of, and they'd talked to her a few times, but she doubled and tripled down, so they cut her off. Since sadly, Gina has taken on a lot, only a few lesser projects. We'll call them lesser. We'll call them lesser. Okay. And she has not gotten off of her political high horse one bit. She was in that My Son Hunter movie about the kind of hit job on Hunter Biden.
What a bizarre. So she went from like acting in The Mandalorian to that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a downgrade.
It's kind of sad to see because I really liked her character in The Mandalorian, but
to me it's just a reminder that like without even getting like overtly political here, I'll just say that I think you can kind of have whatever views, but I think that in the entertainment industry, it seems like a pretty early lesson people learn is you just keep it to yourself. Just keep it to yourself. Like, because I know there's oftentimes these like criticisms people will have about like this industry's gone woke or cancel culture is killing America or something, whatever. Sure, you can have that conversation if you want, but I think that the honest truth is just that like if you are like a prominent actor or something, or you have a prominent role, particularly with companies like Disney, where like we've seen how hard they police those people in those Marvel movies.
You can't really say much if you're a Marvel employee.
Just be a good role model and just kind of keep any extreme views to yourself. And I know like people will hear that and be like, but my freedom of speech. Yeah, I know, but it's not. I think to me at least, it's not about freedom of speech. It's just about like common sense a little bit.
I remember in my business law class, we talked about the freedom of speech and how many people misunderstand what that means. Mm-hmm. The freedom of speech only means the government can't tell you what you can or can't say.
Correct.
But pretty much everyone else can. And while they can't forcibly silence you, they can punish you. Your job does not have to keep you on if you say things that they don't like. The police can still arrest you if you say things they don't like.
So now, I guess Elon Musk funding her her lawsuit, is that what's happening?
Yeah. So Elon,
that sounds. I
feel like he's a big Gina Carano fan, more so than anything else.
Yeah.
Because I believe he even said that he was going to help her get into like a Star Wars killer type movie. I think that fell apart. I don't know whatever happened to that.
Okay. I mean, what is the Star Wars killer? I'd love to.
I mean, the Star Wars killer is Disney, but we're not going to get into that conversation.
Oh, ouch. Listen to you. Got some takes, do we?
Okay. But Elon Musk, he's throwing his weight around, trying to like make things happen. I don't truly understand why.
I mean, he's been funding a few more controversial causes, we'll say. That's maybe the most even way I can say it. I hope for the best. Like, I would like for her to be able to get the job back. Like, I think that would be nice at least. It sounds like she's probably not getting it back. I guess what she's looking for now are, I guess, just damages. But I think that the real lesson here is just, like, don't, like, if you have it good, don't get into crazy stuff. Don't, like, say, like, crazy stuff. It's rough, but, like, that's kind of how it is.
I mean, and to be fair, that was in an era where a lot of people were aggressively sharing their opinions. And Carano might feel a bit upset because there are people who said a lot of the same things she was saying and were just as disruptive in their cast, but they didn't get fired. Yeah. They didn't get blackballed.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty telling that Carano is not getting work for any reputable projects.
Nothing major. Nothing of her caliber, frankly.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's probably stuff beneath her acting caliber, but interesting. Well, anywho, I guess it's time to draw a few cards. Yeah, draw a few cards from the pot of greed. Thank you guys, as always, for submitting questions. We always appreciate it when you do because, well, it's fun. You can submit your questions in the Google form below.
All right, let's see what I get. Is this? Nope, that's blank. Found one. Here we go.
Yeah, let's see what we have here.
Oh, all right. Why is it so long? Okay,
me first or you first? You
first?
I'll
go.
Okay.
I don't play the physical game right now because of too many money sinks. But would right now be a good time to join back in with all the new products?
Oh, would now be a good time to start playing physical TCG again? I think so. I think it's fine. I mean, there's obviously a conversation around like if you want to play the best thing in the game right now, it's expensive.
Like if your goal is to play the best deck, then maybe it's not a good time.
But like frankly, I think that you're just a normal person who's trying to play. There's no reason not.
If you're a Raid Raptor fan, it's a great time to get back in. It's got new support.
Yeah, like if you're a fan of just like kind of some older decks or just something that's not literally like kind of Snake Eye, Diabell Star, like
Rescue Ace,
Fire King thing.
Fire King.
Like then you're probably okay. I would say that there's some exciting products that have come out, like between Rarity Collection 1 last year and then the advent of Rarity Collection 2 on the horizon. It seems like most staples will be on the easier end to get.
Right.
And then, I don't know. I mean, I think like Age of Overlord was cool. I think Phantom Nightmare is cool. I think like there's not really much to say that's bad.
I guess I'm just curious, when did they get out of the game? What was too much of a money sink then?
Yeah, I don't know if their question meant that they just currently have a lot of money sinks in their life. Like maybe they're playing other gacha games and other different like obligations. Or if it's just a matter of like they got out of Yu-Gi-Oh because it was simply too expensive at the time. Because like, spoiler alert, Yu-Gi-Oh pretty much always is going to be like expensive at the top level. That's not a secret. It sucks. I wish that could change. But that's like almost always the case. But I think that there is sort of, we do have this tendency to fixate on that because it's an undesirable like situation and forget that like for the average person, you know, you don't have to actually spend $1,000 on a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. And literally Konami is not going to like come to your house and pull the money out of your wallet. Neither is like TCG Player or eBay or the local game store. Like, I mean, play what you want.
But we've never had a time where we had Rarity Collection before. We've never had a time where we're going to get a Rarity Collection 2, not even a full year after Rarity Collection 1. Yeah. So this will probably be some of the cheapest Yu-Gi-Oh we'll get for a minute.
Yeah, I think right now Yu-Gi-Oh's at its arguably most accessible, like in a weird way.
I mean, because Fire Kings is a strong deck, and that's just a structure deck.
Yeah, you can buy 3 Fire King structures and like throw in some staples or something from Rarity Collection and have a serviceable deck.
Yeah,
like you do not have to play Bonfire and Wanted in it. Like I know the internet might tell you that.
You can work towards getting them by using just your
use some store credit at your local store and kind of like build it up. But like so I would say yes, give it a crack.
Yeah, I'll double down on the yes.
Are there any cards that got a better name in the TCG than the OCG? So this is an interesting question because like typically people get kind of upset when they change card names and stuff, right? Like they changed. There's a few recent examples.
Totally Awesome.
You think Totally Awesome was a better name?
Worse.
A worse name. Well, the question is, do you think there were names that were better in the TCG?
I know. That's what I'm trying to think of.
I was actually going to say I like Totally Awesome.
Boo.
I think Treat Toad's boring.
I like Treat Toad.
Okay, well. Okay, let's think of one that's like that we can agree is better. One that I think is, I don't want to say like better or worse, but Halky Fibrax is a weird name. Christian Halky Fibrax, that was always like a really a bizarre.
What was the?
I mean, like I'm trying to think of archetypes of late because usually the archetype will come out and then I'll just kind of start calling it the TCG name and that's just.
In very recent news, I think that Snake Eye Poplar is easier to say than Snake Eye Populous.
Yeah.
Like,
I generally don't mind the TCG name changes. I think that
I've minded many.
They're like, I guess I mind them at first. They come out, I start calling them that, and then it just doesn't. It kind of I just forget after that point. Like it's easy to just transition into saying them.
It's not easy for me. I get attached to my OCG names.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, like it with I forgot their names. Oh, like Spriggans being turned into like Springans. Like they put Springans in the TCG.
I actually didn't want guns.
But they were Spriggans in the OCG, which is much more accurate to what they are.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I can't think of anything that's like explicitly better. I just kind of tend to. I'll just call them what they are called because I just want to.
As is your right.
Times. So
I'll always call Spriggans.
Okay, well, at any rate, next draw.
Number 2. Yeah.
If anybody in chat has ones where you think like they explicitly made a better name in the TCG. Oh, I've got one. I think that the Fur Hires.
Oh yeah, they're no naming convention.
Mainly because they got a cool naming convention.
Yeah.
So before they were called like the not like the Sky Brigade or kind of thing like that. Mm-hmm. But in the TCG, they're called Fur Hires, which is like a play on being for hire and then being like fur hire because they're animals.
Yep.
But the way that they actually write out the card effects is the only archetype in the game where like they'll say like their Rhoda type of card would be like add 1 monster for hire from your deck to your hand instead of adding one for higher monster. And they say that with all their effects. I think that's the most genius, fun,
I like
TCG
that their
player.
names are like that too, like Bravo so and so for hire.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think it was a really cool, like just cheeky joke that had some personality.
All right, so I have spell and traps have icons for quick play, continuous, etc. Do you think monsters could do the same?
Oh, for like effect types.
Yes.
Like a quick effect or a continuous effect.
The issue I run into with this is typically the icon of your spell and trap denotes the entirety of that card's effect. Like a continuous spell, its whole effect is typically continuous. Sometimes there's
sort of, kind of, yeah.
Like, or at least it used to be. That has changed.
Yeah, nowadays, who knows?
Monsters would probably need multiple icons.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is also where would it go? Like, because
it could go where the bullet should go.
Yeah, because really, I think that I am what you said. I'm more so a fan of just bullet points for effects for readability. Because I think if you had just the symbol, I don't know where that would go. Like if you're talking about like putting it in the text box alongside the rest of the effect,
that's a small little
that's
icon.
A tiny little text box. We're already barely working with any space. Now, if you want to put it beside the level stars, it could happen because then it's like how spells and traps are. But then it's like, well, like you said, most monsters will have multiple kinds of effects. Like sometimes they'll have an ignition effect, and sometimes they'll have like a continuous effect, and so. That's
then like, should we make a symbol for on summon effects?
I think we just need bullet points.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that bullet points would be just for readability. It's the best we can probably hope for. Not saying this is a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. I just think that bullet points are probably a better middle ground of like ease of implementation.
Right.
For right now, but my question. Or did you have any other?
No, that was my thoughts.
What do you think of the idea of Konami reprinting the original starter decks? So I'm guessing like starter deck, Yugi, Kaiba, Joey, Pegasus is probably what this person is talking about. Should they reprint them in the modern day?
As is? Like as they were?
So. I think that's what this person meant.
I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh needs more shelf bloat. I think the product could sell, but to an extent, it also wouldn't sell. And it would sit on shelves because like Yu-Gi-Oh players would not buy these. Like active Yu-Gi-Oh players would not buy them.
Yeah, I think that you would get a lot of like kind of nostalgia fans at first who will kind of like flock to get this stuff. But there is a really dark realization that you pretty quickly have about all these old products because this happened when they re-released, LOB, Magic Ruler, Venom, Pharaoh Servant, all that stuff, Metal Raiders. Old Yu-Gi-Oh packs suck.
They're not good products.
And not suck as in like, I have plenty of fond memories of them, but the opening experience of them is kind of awful.
The pull rates are not great.
Well, the pull rates are all right, but like you're just getting a bunch of vanillas. Like even the best pack is still a bunch of vanillas and like freaking an equip spell that gives you 300 attack and defense.
I mean, I just don't think those sets were very well balanced for the opening experience.
They aren't. And
most of the cards were not even relevant or useful to the format you were playing in because like each set had one monster that had higher attack than all the others. And that was, those were the only monsters you wanted to run. Pretty much 90% of the rest of the set you didn't even want.
Yeah, I think like the idea of LOB is very exciting, but actually opening LOB is not because you won't actually pull like that Blue Eyes White Dragon most of the time. You'll pull a bunch of vanillas, a bunch of vanilla fusions that have like 1100 attack, and a bunch of equip spells that give you 300 attack each, and that's the set. And you suddenly will feel a lot emptier when you have paid all this money to get like this box or these packs or whatever. And it sucks. The same kind of goes for like starter deck Yugi and Kaiba. Like none of the cards that you get in that would really be useful today. So you and a friend could certainly play it if like, you want to do like a kitchen table thing with your friend from, elementary school or something. But like, I think that
value beyond that.
There's really not. It would bloat shelves. Now, if they want to, maybe kind of try to modernize them, that's a different story.
Like,
There could be something
done that
there
before, and we've seen what it could look like with the Asian English starter decks or structure decks, whatever they were called. And those were cool products, but we've really seen how much Yu-Gi-Oh changed over the years. Those decks are nothing like the starter decks.
Yeah. So I'm all about like kind of bringing back maybe the character on the box and like kind of the window where you can see the card inside. Like appeal like that could certainly get a lot more people like into Yu-Gi-Oh. They would notice it. But reprinting them like card for card the same way that they were, I don't think is a great idea. I think it will just sit on shelves after a while. And card shops will suffer for that, and
because I mean, even our shop still has like the reprinted boxes.
Some Pharaoh Servant Metal Raiders just sitting there.
It's like,
and no one's buying it.
Like you'll get a few like casual fans who remember it from the olden day, and they'll buy a few.
I buy a pack or two, but like,
that's it.
Yeah, I mean, Spell Ruler or whatever, Magic Ruler got by on at least having some GOAT staples, so people kind of bought that with the potential for pulling a lot of those. But
after this whole 2-player star deck debacle filling up shelves, I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh needs any more new products that are just gonna sit there and not sell.
Yeah, that actually reminds me, I guess I can finish off with a little quick recap of that. A video that we did on the main channel this week was around playing the Yu-Gi-Oh's new like 2-player starter set. And it was a little atrocious, I'll be honest. Now, I want to clear up a couple of things, or not clear up a couple of things, but just to like reiterate, so what we did in this video, it's on the main channel if you want to watch it, is we got 2 of my friends, real life non-Yu-Gi-Oh friends. I have them, if you can believe it.
Who would have thought?
And gave them the 2-player starter set, and we were like, here, sit down, play, we're not going to help. Unless things go completely off the rails, I'm going to just see what would 2 people's experience with this product be like. And what I found was that while the teaching experience could be hit or miss, there were things that just made no sense to me, like not including a playmat. Not including token cards when the deck uses token cards.
No, it had little tokens at the back of the book.
They're little black and white paper tokens in the last page they didn't tell you anything about. You can cut those out and use them. So I think that the product failed more so in the front of like not giving people really like what I think that they needed to have.
They didn't have the tools for success.
Yeah, and then the duel like ends abruptly.
Yeah.
It just kind of like ends in the middle of the duel, and it's like, okay, the duel's in over.
The rest is in your hands.
Yeah, the rest is in your hands. Figure it out. We gave up.
Their hands are like.
So it's like I don't think the product was a bad conceptual idea, and I don't think that like Konami should not have made it. It's nothing like that. I just think that there were some real omissions, and it feels like it was like a half-baked product. And I hope that that's something that they can maybe take a second stab at with some serious new goggles. But
agreed.
Yeah, so you can check that out if you guys want.
But
yeah,
that's that. That's it for this episode of
the Pod of Greed. Hope you guys enjoyed. Shout out to everybody who is listening live or anybody who's listening on any podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon.
And if you want to participate, go ahead and drop questions in our Google form in the description so that you can too be a part of the Pod of Greed.
That's right. We'll see you guys next week or maybe even this weekend at TCG Con if you're going to be there in Houston, Texas. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Pass turn.